Good morning, everyone. My name is Stephanie Delgado, and I'm the Education Manager here at Hayes Software Systems. Today, we will be discussing the 9.4 enhancements that have just been released. There are just a few, but I think they're pretty impactful, so I'm excited about that. We may not go the full hour, but I'm always happy to stay on after we've talked about those enhancements and kind of see what other kind of awesome discussions we can get involved in. So just a couple of housekeeping. I just mentioned we are recording this session, and that just ensures that you and anybody else has the opportunity to come and listen later on. And then also you'll notice in the bottom of your screen that you have the opportunity to go ahead and go to our support center, as well as specifically to the 9.4 enhancements page. Definitely a lot of great information there, and if you haven't been to our support center recently, there's been a lot of great updates there, so I definitely recommend going and checking it out. So let's go ahead and get started by taking a look at the agenda that you should be seeing on your screen. The first thing that we will be talking about this morning is going to be transfer number and adding it to a few places. It's going to be added to the tag information window as well as the tags grid. Now I know that there's quite a few that are excited about this one. We'll dive into exactly what the excitement's all about here shortly. The other item that we will talk about is staff multiple homeroom assignments. A lot of times staff members may be kind of what's the word I'm looking for? They are the ones that kind of manage or are in charge of the assets that are in a room. There you go. I've got my words out there. So we saw that the need was there to allow the opportunity to add multiple homeroom assignments. So we'll look at that and how it affects quite a few reports actually when we're talking about staff members. So that's fantastic. Additionally, we will talk about, this is a big one, having the capability to actually utilize a serial search when you're in the tag information window. I know this is one that has had quite a few requests as well. Now at the end, we will talk about departments, and I'm curious if you want to put a little note in the chat window for me. Does anybody that is currently on the webcast session have departments? I'm just curious. If you want, just type in there, yes, no, or even I have no idea what you're talking about, Steph, and that's completely okay too. But we will talk about it. There's one quick, really cool feature with the departments piece as well. Nope. Okay, that's all right. Thank you for responding too, by the way. Oh, hello. It's hot in Charlotte, is it? I can only imagine. Okay, so we have one individual that does have departments. Okay, cool. So you'll definitely want to stay on till the end, I think, just to get to see that small little piece, but it's pretty impactful as well. So if everybody's ready to go, I'm going to go ahead and get started by switching over so you can see my screen. So bear with me a moment. Make sure I have the right one here. Perfect. All right. So everybody should be seeing my application. As always, just as a reminder, this is our training site, so it probably will look significantly different than what you are used to seeing. So today we're going to go ahead and dive right in. I am in the admin view as well. Quite a few of the areas that we'll be discussing this morning, we will I'll make note if it's more admin or site view training, site view within the application. Goodness, sorry about that. So we'll go ahead and dive right in, looking at a tag with the whole piece of having the transfer information. Bear with me, I have a comment. Sorry, everybody. More people wanting to come in. That's fantastic. All right, there we go. All right, so just really quickly, we're going to be talking about the transfer number and how it's been added to a couple of locations. One is that tag information window, so we'll go ahead and go look at that really quickly. And then the other location is going to be the tags grid. There are some things to kind of note about it. Of course, individuals that are at the admin view as well as the site view and you that are able to see the either the tags page or, of course, searching from the tag serial search, we'll be able to see this information. The one thing I really want to kind of note here is that this is for pending transfers only. And so that means that if a transfer has gone to the status of even right before being received, so to be received, this will not come into play anymore. This is only for those transfers that are in the status of pending. So let's go ahead and dive in. I'm going to go ahead and go straight to a tag, make sure I have one that has, so 3002. I love this feature, by the way. The quick search is one of my favorite things. So 3002, my tag, it's actually at Learning Campus, but you'll see we still always have the status piece here, so you see it's pending transfer. So where this new field is located is right below the status, and it's only here if the tag is actually in that pending transfer state. And you'll see here, this tag, 3002, is currently on transfer number 5143. I don't know if anybody wants any kind of slow clap for that, but this is pretty big from what I understand is we're wanting to know if tags are on transfers for various reasons, right? There's many things that we can't do, such as some kind of bulk editing from the tags grid if a tag is on a transfer, right? So there's various things where it might be, wait, I didn't know that this tag was on a transfer. Well, you can actually go in and see a little more information, even that specific transfer number that tag is on. So anybody think that's kind of cool? Thank you. Yes. Thank you. It is awesome, right? And I do have a comment. Just to clarify, this will not work if the status of the transfer is in receiving. That is correct. And that's something I really wanted to make sure that I kind of addressed, is that there is kind of a breaking point of where it will no longer be on there because it's kind of it should be at the receiving side at that point. And then you are able to go into history, right? So transfer history to look at transfer history as another way. Great. I'm glad that you like it. Did I answer your question? Good. Glad to hear. Fantastic. Oh, I'm excited. You guys are excited too. But I've already heard some woohoos and such. So I'm super excited to hear that you guys like it. I'm going to show you even some more cool stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out here. Make sure I remember my tag 3002 transfer number. Let's go ahead and dive over to the tags page. Now, again, I am on the admin view. I could also see this on my site view as long as I had, of course, those permissions. So I'm going to go ahead and check all of my sites. Another piece is utilizing advanced filters. I could do, maybe I didn't know the exact transfer that a tag was on, but I kind of knew the around and about. So I could add the option. So I'm going to look for transfer number, and I saw it this morning, and of course I wish you guys could chime in and tell me because I'm sure you'd see it much quicker than I would. Give me 1 second here. There it is. Okay, so it's right here. Right there after the last audited for me. I think it alters based actually off of some information with your grid. So you'll just kind of have to play around with it a little bit. So at my transfer number, I could look for a specific transfer number here if I so chose. So I could do that 5143. I can also maybe do more of a contains, and I could say, you know, I'm pretty sure it ended with, 4-3 or maybe started with 5-1, and so I can kind of play around with it here. I'll just go ahead and select go. And then when I do so, I will get all of the tags that are currently on a transfer, and you'll see even my status here is pending transfer, that have 5-1. But look, we're missing something, right? Well, how do I know which actual transfer that these tags are on, right? That's where the other piece comes into play. And so I can actually go and add this column to my tags grid. So I'm going to go to Edit Column. And I just need to locate my transfer number. Here it is. I'll go ahead and just use my little arrow to push it to the right. I'm going to go to move it up to the top here so that we can see it a little quicker. So I'll do it right after my tag and then serial. And then I'll make sure to, of course, save it. It'll just take a quick second. It'll refresh for me, which I do love as well. And you'll see right away, here are my transfer numbers. So now I can kind of hone in if I only knew a portion, or maybe I just needed to pull a report that would have all of the transfers and maybe a specific number range or so forth. Now, speaking about reports, this will also show, of course, on the tag listing, and that's because, the tag listing is fantastic, is that it's going to show whatever I have on my blue grid header here, right? So if I come over here to my reports and I go to tag listing, take a moment. All right, on my other screen, bear with me. There we go. And so, of course, something else that's great about that tags grid is it is in the same layout as what I had put my my columns into. And so you'll see here that right here is my transfer number. And then if I need to, I could go and do some filtering and so forth to get the exact kind of data that I needed. Do you have any questions on that? No need to save. Okay. Well, overall, that is the transfer number being added to a couple of areas, so the tag information window as well as the tags grid. You do have the choice just to utilize maybe the custom filters, but you also have the capability to edit columns and add that column if it's something that's kind of important to you. So I do believe this is going to be quite impactful. Please, let us know. We always appreciate hearing what you guys think of our features. And let me see if I have a note. Yes, the question is, will this work for site-to-warehouse transfers? Yes, it will. And so this is the question is for those districts that have the warehouse feature. It does alter a little bit. It goes, for the most part, into the same time frame as I was mentioning earlier about the whole pending. But because you have a driver with warehouses, it changes that just a smidge. But again, just remember, it's right when you have, before you get to actually receiving. So just know that it's just during that first initial portion of the transfer. And let us know how you feel about that piece as well. We always want to get your feedback. Oh, I have a question. Will you enter the tag again? I missed how it looked when it shows the transfer number. Of course. I believe it was 3002. Let me double check. Is that the area you're looking for? So you'll see here on the tag information window, I now have the transfer number piece. Do you guys want me to walk through really quickly a transfer where you can see it? If I get one yes, I'm going for it. All right. Fantastic. So let me go ahead and go to that transfer actually that we were just talking about. So the 5143, it's on Learning Campus. So let me go ahead and go to Learning Campus first. I need to see it what actual state it's in at the moment. Okay, so it's my 5143 here, and this is a site-to-site. Okay, so you'll see here, it was still, as you recall, the tag was still available to see the transfer number on our tag information window. It's currently approved. This is a site-to-site, so I don't have that piece that was asked kind of about warehouses, so that piece is not in here. But I highly recommend kind of going in and kind of mimicking what we're doing, and so you can kind of see that in more detail. You can always call me, and I'm happy to walk you through it. So we will go ahead and ship our transfer. So now it's still in transit, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at what it looks like on the tag. So you'll see here that at that point it's in transit to Hayes, but I have the transfer number has been removed here. And so just kind of actually my location, that's kind of interesting. It popped up here, right? I was mistaken. It does say my transfer number, 5143. Do not listen to me. erase the last 30 seconds there. So let's try to go a little further then to receiving. So Scott, we need to go to Hayes. We are receiving. They have one to receive here. So it's showing in transit. Now, just for fun, if everyone's okay with it, so it's at the point of receiving. I'm going to go put it in 101. What is available? So it has now been received and completed. And I no longer see it on my details. Now, of course, I'll be able to see information under my status history always about my, and I think this came to a portion of one of the questions we had earlier, but about transfers and kind of the history of a transfer. Looks like I have someone typing. Okay. I'll kind of continue on slowly until I get that message come through. I'm going to go ahead and actually go to that same tag that we were just looking at, that 3002, because the next item that I would like to talk to you guys about is the capability to actually do a serial search from the tag information window. This is a big one, I think. I think a lot of times districts have, you're able to do up here in the quick search, but once you got to the tag and you wanted to be able to utilize serial number as well, you did not have the capability. So that has now been added, as you see right here. So now I can do tag/serial. All right, I have a quick question that's still regarding transfers. Let me see. If the receiving site wants to see the transfer ticket, can they do it without clicking receive so that the transfer doesn't go into the receiving status and break that feature? Someone's excited, sorry, about the tag serial. I'm getting all kinds of great feedback if you guys can see it. I love it. Okay, so just to make sure that I'm clear with the question really quickly, so you're saying the transfer ticket you're able to see at all times. So the receiving site, if they went into the transfer, they'd be able to see the transfer ticket as well as yourself. Is that kind of the question you're asking? And if it's not, please bear with me. Okay, as you're typing, I'm going to go ahead and continue just so that I, continue to move forward. So right here, I have the capability. Oh, okay. Please, if you would like to, just let me know, and I can reach out to you with a bit more information if you need it about transfer ticket and so forth. So I'm happy to do that after. Okay, great. I'll make note of it, and I'll reach out to you after the session. Wonderful. So back here really quickly, here is a tag serial. Again, if I only know part of a serial number, I can definitely go ahead and just start to enter it. I'm actually going to start to utilize a piece of this one. So I'm going to say 2, 3, and I'm going to say enter. And it's going to pull up a tag of, oh, I think that's actually, get rid of that. Let's go ahead. Actually, I'll do this 23265. And right away, you see here, here's my serial number. So that I can easily just switch between, even tag and serial numbers quickly if I just happen to have one or the other. And so this is just a great quick feature, but I think, again, this is another one. I mean, I think this last feature release is just fantastic with some of those kind of impactful features, right? Do I have any questions on that? Great. I'm glad you guys like it. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and continue on to another feature, which is the staff multiple homeroom assignment. This is the one that we're kind of talking about where there may be times where a staff member is kind of the one responsible for tags or really assets that are within a room, and so they're assigned multiple homerooms. This is also viewable on the screen of when we are looking at rooms. So let's go ahead and go dive in there. I'm on Hayes Elementary. I'm going to actually switch over to my Learn Campus. As you probably know by now, that's definitely our personal favorite campus for our training sites. And so I will go directly to rooms. Now with this, there has been a little bit of an alteration I do want to make everybody aware of. In assigning home rooms to staff members, you will do it from the rooms now rather than from the staff page. So I do want to note that there is that kind of variance, and we can go and look at what it looks like on the staff side here shortly. But it's pretty simple. You'll see in the column headers, in fact, that I have staff assigned, and so currently I do not have staff assigned to any of these rooms, but we're going to change that. I'm going to go ahead and go into my virtual auction room, and I will click on the staff tab, and then I just need to find my staff member. Now, if I happen to know the ID, I could put it in, and I could, of course, do the down arrow for next, but I'm going to utilize the binoculars to search, and I'm going to go ahead, and you'll see that Alan Moore does have a homeroom, but it's number 30, just wasn't on our screen yet. I'm going to go ahead and do Alan since he already has one. We're going to add him to this room as well. So Alan Moore is very quick, right away. You'll see him here, that he's a teacher, and I have some actions. And overall, this is similar to what it's identical to really what you've had in the past for the staff homeroom assignment. I can always come in, remove Alan. I can also reassign him to another room. And let's see, I have some comments. Let's take a look real quick. Allowing someone into our session. Great. All right. So it's pretty straightforward. But now let's see what it looks like on Alan's side, right? So he has 2 rooms that he's associated with. So if we go to Alan for this kind of the staff information window, right away I see it. He has homeroom 1000 as well as 30. And even then, if I go to view Alan, go to his details, and now you'll see he has his 2 homerooms here. There's even a comment in between them. And then what's also lovely is that I can click, and it will take me to that room actually, and to even the staff tab where he's assigned to. This does impact several reports, and so you definitely can go and take a look at each of those, but the E-rate report, the accessory listing, charge listing, inventory due date listing, charge activity listing, and then the staff inventory status report, which you'll find the majority of those right here, as well as on the, I'm sorry, we're on rooms, on the staff page here. So you'll find a lot of those right here. Do I have any questions about that? Do you think you'll utilize this at all? Is this a feature that you think you'll want to use? Yes, yes, great to hear. I'm so glad to hear that. All right, so that is the staff multiple homeroom assignment. I got a maybe, depends. Great. I have a question. So the employee will show up in 2 places. It's more of an association, so the staff member doesn't actually like show up in different places. It's just they have a like assignment of a room, but they won't show up in multiple places. Did that answer your question? I hope I did. It's just that association. And then you're able to see the association in 2 places, under rooms, under that specific room, as well as the staff. I see. If they're two different sites, that's a really good question. I actually need to look at that. I will tell you my initial thought is that it would only show for the site that they are on, but that's a great question. And I actually would like to do some investigating before I actually answer that. So if it's okay, I'll respond to everybody that is on the session and give you that information after. Does that sound okay? It's actually a great question. I'm grateful that you asked it. I always get excited when there's things I'm not sure about to get in and play around and figure it out. Of course. Okay, so I will definitely be at least emailing everybody to let them know about that piece. I definitely want to make sure that you have the most accurate information. The one thing I did also want to mention, remember I mentioned earlier that staff assigned, we all had 0 on all of them. Well, we now have a room here at the top that does have a staff assigned, so you'll see that here. And if there's multiple staff members, you'll see that number just increase. All right. So do I have any additional questions on the Staff Homeroom Association? The last item that I have is that departments feature. I do want to just make note of that because I know that not everybody has the departments feature. I actually do, in fact, even need to go to a separate site. So if you can bear with me, I'm going to go and get my site. Let's see here. What's your favorite feature that you've seen so far this morning as I'm going to pull that up? Tag serial? I understand. It's the small things, right? It's those little things that kind of just give us a little bit more streamlining or ease of use. Okay, thank you for waiting while I pull that up. I am on a department site, and the way that I personally know that, and you most likely will not have, is I have this right here, which is the department settings. So I'm going to go ahead and walk through this just for everybody so that they can take a peek. So under management, I'll click on department settings. And the feature is the capability to select all. And actually, I probably went to the wrong location. I did. Bear with me, everybody. Sorry about that. It's under users, silly. So it's under users when you are editing a user and you are trying to give them departments. Right away, you'll see for some it'll be a field you've not seen before, but department, if you have the feature, is required. It's red. I actually do have all my items checked. So if I do my drop-down arrow, I now have this right here. And it seems small, but it's actually pretty big, especially for those districts that have quite a few different departments and having to go in and every time check, each department for their staff members. So they can just do a quick, handy check all, and maybe they only want a couple, or if they realize they need all, just a quick check all, that simple. So that is the department feature. It's another one, I think, for those that have departments that is small, but it's pretty. It looks small, right? I mean, honestly, for R&D, it's a lot of stuff on the back end, right? But it's pretty impactful. And so that's that department feature that I was mentioning. I think it was one individual that has departments. Do you think that'll be helpful for you? All right, she's typing. I will tell you all that that is the 9.4 features that have just been released. I hope that they bring some, ease of use, and as we see some individuals have some excitement about them, please, by all means, if at any point you have any additional questions about them, you always have help with us. And with that, I'm actually going to stop sharing my screen and move over to my last screen because I want to make sure you have that contact information. Because as you know, as a customer of Hays, you have unlimited support. You can always reach out to us. There's our 800 number as well as our email. Please reach out to us with any questions. We prefer that you, if you're spending a little too much time spinning your wheels, don't get frustrated. Just reach out to us and we'll do our best to help you as quickly as possible. I really appreciate you all joining with me this morning. It definitely did not take that hour. And thank you for your comments there that I'm just now getting about the training. Greatly appreciated. We appreciate those as well so that we can continue to improve. You are so welcome. Okay, I did get a comment about departments. You only have 2 at the moment, but you can see as you expand it'll be helpful. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, everybody. So I'll stay on a couple of minutes after I stop the recording. If there's any additional questions, you will see an email from me within at the most length 24 hours regarding that one question that you had, okay? Thank you for that comment. I really appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.